Dora the Explorer is a teenager without the angst. Here's my drive time review of Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Dora the Explorer gets a big screen adaptation in Dora and the Lost City of Gold, starring Isabel Moner as the Latina explorer, and Eva Longoria, Eugenio Derbez, Michael Peña. You have the voices of Benicio del Toro and Danny Trejo, and I have never said that many Latino names in a mainstream film ever. So yay. A film it's for everybody, but to have a large Latino cast in such a mainstream film is really good to see. And Isabel Moner did an awesome job as Dora the Explorer. She captured the spirit of the cartoon character. Even though she's older now, she's a teenager, and the actress herself, I think, is now 18. So you have to get past the fact that she may look a little older than her given age in the movie, which I believe is 14. But I think she just did a great job. Her positivity was just wonderful to see on the screen, and it was a great contrast to the characters that surround her in the movie. Diego is played by Jeff Wahlberg. Now, he's nephew to Mark Wahlberg and Donnie Wahlberg and that empire now. And he did an okay job. I mean, you won't recognize much of Diego in him because he has changed. He moved to the city. So the movie begins with a young Dora, a different actress, and a Diego doing their thing, talking to the camera, breaking the fourth wall, and it's all very cute. And they kind of explain it away as to how this character is going to transform into not speaking directly into the camera, but her spirit is maintained when we fast forward to Dora as a teenager. Diego, at this point, leaves to move to the city with his parents, and so Dora, of course, is heartbroken by that, but that doesn't break her spirit. So when we get to the part where she's a teenager, of course, she's in a new adventure. She gets hurt, so her parents, played by Eva Longoria and Michael Peña, decide to send her to the city to live with Diego and her uncles and aunts while they explore a new adventure. When Dora arrives to high school with Diego, she's a stark contrast to the high-strung, self-absorbed teenagers. And Diego is sort of embarrassed by her because she's greeting everybody and she's excited to be there and saying what a great day it is. And of course, we know going to school, you don't have that kind of attitude. And Diego keeps telling her, why can't you just be normal? So I love the fact that the movie and the writers and the directors not only are giving us a family film, but they're saying a lot by what we're seeing. The fact that what is normal? At one point Diego calls her weird, and that breaks her heart. You know, what is it that qualifies as normal? Each person has their own definition of it. But I like that they explored that in the movie, and hopefully for young kids, they'll see that it's not bad being different or weird. And I think Dora is a great example of that, the way she handles it. She continues to be high-spirited and doesn't let her get her down. Luckily, we don't see any bullying because that would be really mean. And she handles herself just really, really well. And you think, okay, this young girl is just oblivious, but she's not. And she tells Diego later, I know what's going on. I know what people are saying, but she's choosing to ignore it and to stay positive. So I love that messaging in the movie. Hopefully young kids and adults as well will get that point. So I love all those subliminal messages in the movie. They also bring up the fact that in society, we don't revere smart, intelligent women. And in 2 occasions, the writers throw that in there and the director, and I thought that was a really great addition. For example, on her first day of school, she meets this young student who's trying to save the rainforest. And she starts throwing out all these facts and data about rainforests and which ones are needing more help. And this character gets upset because now she's not the smartest girl in school. So Diego warns her to stay away from this woman because she's a know-it-all, she knows everything, and Dora's response is, oh, she must be revered and greatly esteemed by our colleagues. And he says, no. So that says a lot. And that's brought up again later with one of the villains is targeting Dora and saying that nobody likes, again, it's like a know-it-all. You think you know it all. You think you're so smart. And by the way, Dora is very, very smart. And that's how she, obviously it's a treasure hunt slash adventure. And so she figures out the puzzles and the clues. So of course she's smart. But the fact that the villain is saying you're so annoying because you think you know it all and you can solve problems, that's a subliminal message there. Here you're hearing it again towards the end of the movie, that some people find this as an issue. And so I love all those subliminal little messages in there. And I hope people get it, because it is true that smart people, particularly women, are seen as a nuisance sometimes. Or they're just bossy. And I think they call her bossy at one point. It's like, really? She's bossy because she knows the clues? And that's very typical of what women tend to hear, which I've heard often, that I'm bossy. I might be bossy, but anyway. But the fact that people don't appreciate the intelligence that individuals have and the uniqueness of people in real life. So I really love that subliminal messages, and I think I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was just going to be a lame attempt at grabbing families to go to the movies, but it's basically your Latina Indiana Jones. Again, it's a treasure hunt, and most people who know the show, that's what she did in the jungles, was follow maps, find lost items, lost cities. And this is perfect. This is old school treasure hunt, and I really like that about the movie. The Dora movie was directed by James Bauman, who directed the last two most recent Muppet movies, and written also by the writer of those two movies, Nicholas Stoller, along with Matthew Robinson. I thought they paced the story really well. We started in the jungle, then we head to the city, and we see the stark contrast of Dora, and along the way along with Diego, she picks up some new friends who teach you or who learn something from her. And then we head right back into the jungle. So I thought the timing was perfect. The movie moved along really, really well. And then when they get into the jungle, they had time to play with a lot of things. And there's a big nod to the TV show in a portion. I don't know if I should spoil it. It's hilarious. So you're going to see some animation. And the way they did it was so smart, and people were laughing in the theater really hard because they found a great way to throw in some animation in there of how the characters actually look in the Nickelodeon show. And I'm still laughing about it. It's really, really hilarious. How they could do it, you just have to watch and figure it out. I'm glad the production design didn't go to the usual ethnic looking sets that we often see in movies when we're talking about Latino characters. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but a lot of people don't use those bright colors. I do in my house, but that's because I like the Southwestern, Mexican, Spanish adobe look. But it's done too often in movies and television sets when we're talking about a bilingual cast like this one. So it's nice to see that they didn't play up that they played up more the individuality of these characters, and throwing in the Spanish in there was just a nice little touch. Dora in the Lost City of Gold is a nice throwback to treasure hunts and to movies from the classic eras. And so it's nice to see a different kind of lead in that genre of a movie. The performance at the box office for this movie is so important, because if it tanks, then a lot of people will use it as an example that Latino leads can't sell a movie, which is often done with female-led movies. And so I hope the numbers are very, very good, and people turn out, families turn out, especially Latinos, who will go out in droves to see this movie. So I highly recommend it. It's a very, very good movie. I didn't watch the original show, but a lot of people told me that it captures the spirit of the show, and it was done really, really well.